Hey, so we got this situation going on between LeBron James and Charles Barkley, right? Now, this situation, man, like if any of you actually really pay attention and like you watch the inside the NBA stuff or you listen to Charles Barkley, talk on like radio interviews and stuff like that, you saw this coming. This guy, like Barkley, he's one of the best players ever. Let's just call it what it is. I know some people may be too young to know who Charles Barkley is or know what he done. I mean, you got YouTube, you can Google him and stuff like that. I mean, he was an undersized power forward who was a beast out there. I mean, he was never a good defender and stuff like that, but rebounding machine, posting machine. They changed the back to the basket rule because of Charles Barkley. Like, you could only back to the basket for 5 seconds because Barkley would do that stuff for like 15 seconds. But with that being said, he was recently quoted, man, inside the NBA a couple times, calling LeBron in layman's terms, basically calling him a whiny little bitch, pretty much, because we all know LeBron went on record saying we need an effing playmaker, it came across as if he was just overly like self-entitled because Barkley's gripe with him was the fact that he was going on. They like, bro, you in first place in the East. Y'all went on this skid and didn't lose any ground, which is true. And he said, man, he pretty much said, what do you want to have all the good players on your team? Like, you want to have all the good players? Like, you supposed to be the best player in the world, and you need to have all these all-stars around you, all these really good players around you. And a lot of the older players, like the ex-players and stuff, they give LeBron a lot of shit. Let's just call it what it is, man. And some of it is justified, but a lot of it isn't. So it just came across, and I think LeBron just kind of got tired of it. And Barkley just kept saying like, yo, you're supposed to be the best player. Why do you need all these players around you? Like, do you not want to compete? Like, compete against these guys. You can't want to play with everybody. You got to play against somebody, pretty much. And LeBron just basically responded, the first time saying like, look, check, since I was 9 years old, I've been, competing. I've been out here playing. Like, that's not the case. And, an argument could be made also when he said like, look, Cleveland, the Cavaliers has basically brought over everybody you hinted towards wanting to play with. And a lot of those ex-Miami Heat players that he played with is over there with him. You got the James Jones and stuff in that guy like he's just filling a roster spot, because what does James Jones actually do? Then when Tristan Thompson's contract was up, they like, yo, we already got Kevin Love. Why would we pay Tristan Thompson all this money? And he like, yeah, get it done. And they essentially overpaid Tristan Thompson just to make LeBron James happy. Same thing with Iman Shumpert. Same thing with J.R. Smith. I mean, so they are doing stuff. Cavaliers has the highest payroll in the NBA, and they are in the luxury tax. So that means they're paying even more in the luxury tax because they so high over the the NBA salary cap. So that's pretty much what Charles Barkley's gripe was with LeBron. One thing I will say, a lot of people may not like Charles Barkley. He speaks how he feels. Some of the stuff he says can be kind of buffoonish or stupid, but that makes for good television. But he never attacks anybody personally. Never. I've never heard him attack anyone personally. When he says something about somebody, it's pretty much his job to analyze it. He says what he says, and it's never outside of the game of basketball. It's never outside of the game of basketball. And we all know that, Kenny Smith, he's just a typical New York dude, just always got to say his part. Some of the stuff he says, some of it makes sense. A lot of the stuff just for him to hear himself talk. Shaq could be one of the biggest haters on the planet. I've always said that about Shaquille O'Neal. He's a big hater, man. Like, if he don't like somebody or especially with the big men, he don't want any big man to get any credit unless it's DeMarcus Cousins, because he's a like part of the ownership group or something with the Kings or whatever. But with that being said, LeBron James comes back, right? And he said a lot of stuff. And the stuff that he went at Charles Barkley with, now I can understand he's pissed off, right? We can all understand that he's pissed off. He's tired of people coming at him and stuff like that. And I've always said this: LeBron James is probably the most polarizing athlete in the world. Like, you either love him or hate him. It's not a lot of in between. With me personally, I'm always on the fence with him because, you know, it's like you want to be the guy, but you can't take it, you know, like he takes it in stride for the most part, and I feel like he does a lot of like little backhanded jabs at his teammates. Like, he's quick to point the finger at his teammates. Like, he takes a lot of the blame. I feel like he takes too much blame when his team loses, but he wants too much credit when the team wins. So he's that guy, you know, he's that guy. So, you know, for him to say, I want a playmaker, I want this, I want that, it's like, I think Tristan Thompson went on record was saying, like, yo, we just won the championship. Win with the team you got. You know what I mean? Just play with the players that you have. And that's what a lot of the older players, like I said before, have an issue with him because, you know, he didn't start getting this type of flack until he went to Miami. Now, a lot of, you know, the old school basketball, you know, purists, so, you know, they say, oh, when you play and you win with the team that you started with and all that. I don't agree with that. And that was going to be LeBron James' method. But you know who told him not to do that? Kevin Garnett. Kevin Garnett told him that. When the Celtics beat the Cavaliers in that playoff series, before he left, Kevin Garnett told him, like, look, man, you see what I had to do. You know what I mean? You see what I had to do. I had to get the hell up out of Minnesota because they wasn't putting the right pieces around me. And a lot of people didn't want to go to Minnesota. Just like a lot of people who wanted to really come to Cleveland, who wanted to play in Cleveland. I mean, it's Cleveland. So that's why he did what he did. And if you want to be judged as one of the best players ever, you have to win. It's just as simple as that. So when you hear Charles Barkley going at him, the first thing LeBron James should just say, look, I got a championship pedigree. So you wouldn't know nothing about that. Maybe if you did what I did, you would have won something. But LeBron, instead of doing that, he kind of took it personal. He said a lot of stuff, man. And hold on for a second. I'm gonna just quote some of the stuff he said. And first he said, I'm not the one that said I'm not a role model. I'm not the one that didn't show up to All-Star weekend until Sunday because I was in Las Vegas partying all weekend. Said, I'm not the one that spit on a kid. I'm not the one that was getting in trouble, fighting people in bars and all types of stuff, man. He I'm not the one that got unpaid Vegas gambling debts and all, man. He went in, yo, like, and then he said like the corniest thing, man, like the corniest thing that topped this whole thing off was he was like, there's a new sheriff in town. Like, come on, son, what the hell is this, 1968, bro? Like, this fool said there's a new sheriff in town. Like, come on, B. That was the corniest thing out of all of it. And in my personal opinion, he got that rattled and, you know, just, I hate using that word triggered, but he did kind of get super triggered. And I can blame him, but he took it personal. It's like he didn't say anything far as basketball wise against Charles Barkley. Everything was kind of like garnered personally stuff against him. And I heard Dwayne Wade say, you know, I'm glad he finally said something. You know, because that guy, you know, got the microphone in front of his mouth. He think he could just say anything, and it garners ratings, man. Like I said, it's about ratings. But Barkley tends to say what he feels, and you can't be mad at that. As long as he doesn't attack you personally, you shouldn't clap back with nothing personal. That's just like if I tell you, you're not playing good, bro. Like, you playing like shit, man. Why you keep doing this? Why you keep taking these bad shots? Well, why you out here cheating on your wife then? And you know, it's like, come on, fam. Like, you can't do that, man. Like, that's not you don't clap back with that, man. It's like the shit that Rondo did, that was ideal, because when Butler and Wade did what they did, Rondo just basically typed it out like, look, my veterans didn't do what y'all doing, because it pertained to what they were doing. So I don't know, man. I think Charles Barkley is a little overcritical of LeBron, but I think LeBron needs to, you know, sometimes look at himself, because he turns the ball over a lot and he's not always playing that great. He's great at deflecting the blame sometimes too. And Cleveland has pretty much given him everything that he's wanted. And don't be surprised if they actually go out and try to find that playmaker, a Lance Stevenson who's out there. Mario Chalmers is out there. Hell, they might they might even dig up Kirk Heinrich from somewhere. But I mean, not that he gonna do anything. He's just gonna fill another roster spot. My thing is, he picked this team, and he tried to pick this team the same way he did in Miami. But the thing is, this ain't Miami. You know what I mean? It's not Miami. You got a bunch of spot up shooters on your team. You know, you got a bunch of spot up shooters. Bunch of them. You don't have an inside presence, and that's what they missing. When they had Mozgov, you know, at least he could do something down there to give Golden State some fits in the finals. So I don't know, man. I think Charles Barkley kind of went over the edge a little bit, but LeBron's comeback, although it was warranted, I don't think that he responded in the proper way. So I mean, y'all let me know. Y'all can sound off in the comment section what y'all think, man. I think that LeBron, you know, taking it personal made him look like, you know, kind of corny in a sense. But I'm glad he actually said something back and fired back. But the way that he did, I think was kind of whack, especially with that new sheriff in town. I can't get over that. So let me know what y'all think, man. I'm out, y'all. Peace.